All right, let's dive into something pretty wild today. We're talking about the intersection of two huge things: massive, autonomous cargo ships sailing the oceans by themselves, and the world's first ever comprehensive rulebook for artificial intelligence coming out of the EU.
I mean, really think about that for a second. A vessel the size of a skyscraper, loaded with goods, navigating the busiest sea lanes on the planet, with not a single person on board. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's the very near future of what are called maritime autonomous surface ships, or MAS. And yeah, it brings up some massive questions about safety, control, and who's responsible when things go wrong.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the tech itself, these so-called robot ships. Then we'll unpack Europe's brand new AI rulebook and its really clever pyramid of risk. After that, we'll see exactly how those rules are going to apply to these ships, look at the huge global ripple effect this is causing, and wrap up by looking at that classic tug-of-war between innovation and safety.
Okay, so first things first, what do we even mean when we say an autonomous ship? It's not just a simple on or off switch, you know? The technology is really more of a spectrum.
The official term, which comes from the International Maritime Organization, they're kind of the global authority for all things shipping, is AMSS. And the key phrase to hang on to here is to varying degrees, because, as you'll see, not all autonomous ships are created equal.
So the IMO breaks this all down into 4 levels. Level 1 is pretty much what we have now on modern ships. Automated systems that help the crew, kind of like advanced cruise control in your car. At level 2, you can actually control the ship from somewhere else, but you've still got a full crew on board just in case. Now, level 3 is where it gets really interesting. The crew is gone. The ship is controlled entirely from a command center on shore. And then you have level 4, that's the full-blown, completely autonomous ship. The AI is the captain, it's making all the decisions on its own. Okay, so that's the tech. Now let's switch gears and look at the other side of this whole equation, the regulation. Because right as this amazing technology is starting to take off, the European Union has rolled out a truly groundbreaking law to manage it.
And look, this is not just another piece of legislation. The EU AI Act is a huge deal. It is a genuine global first. It's the most ambitious attempt anywhere on the planet to create a complete legal framework for AI, and it really puts Europe out in front as a global leader in tech regulation.
And this thing didn't just pop up overnight. The whole journey started way back in 2018. We saw a formal draft in 2021, and then they finally hammered out an agreement in late 2023. It officially became law in August 2024, so this is the result of years and years of debate and fine-tuning.
So how does this law actually work? Well, the core idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. Not all AI is the same, so you shouldn't regulate it all in the same way. The Act uses what's called a risk-based approach, and the best way to picture it is as a pyramid.
Right at the very top of this pyramid, you've got stuff that's deemed an unacceptable risk. These are AI practices that are just a clear threat to our fundamental rights, so they are completely banned. We're talking about things like government-run social scoring systems, or AI that uses manipulative dark patterns to trick you. Just, nope, off the table. Okay, the next level down is high risk. This is the sweet spot for our discussion. This category is for AI that could have a negative impact on our safety or our rights. Now, these systems aren't banned, but they have to follow some very, very strict rules, like getting checked out by a third party before they can ever be used. And as you probably guessed, this is exactly where our autonomous ships are going to fall.
Below that, you've got limited risk. For these AI systems, the main rule is just transparency. If you're talking to a chatbot or you're watching a deepfake video, the law says you have to be told that you're interacting with AI, not a real person. Simple as that.
And finally, at the very bottom, the base of the pyramid is minimal risk. This honestly covers the vast majority of AI that we use every single day. Things like spam filters, or the AI that powers video games. Under this new law, they have no new rules to follow at all.
And this picture just illustrates the entire philosophy of the law perfectly. It's an inverted pyramid. All the heavy regulations are focused at the very top, on the smallest number of super high-risk applications. And then the rules get lighter and lighter as you go down. It's all about focusing the regulatory firepower where it's actually needed the most. Okay, this is where it all comes together. Let's take the ship technology we just talked about and see exactly where it lands inside the legal framework of this new AI Act. This is where the rubber really meets the road. So on one side, you have the technology, the ship's level of autonomy, going from 1 to 4. And on the other side, you have the law, the EU's risk categories. The big question is, how do these two things map onto each other?
And here is the absolute crux of the matter. Ships that are at levels 1 and 2, where you still have a crew on board, they're likely going to fall into that minimal or limited risk category. But the second you take the crew off the ship at levels 3 and 4, the AI systems running that vessel are automatically classified as high risk. And that changes everything.
You see, being labeled high risk isn't just a tag. It comes with a massive to-do list of legal demands. Companies building these systems have to prove they have intense risk management, top-notch data governance. They need to provide super detailed documentation, build in ways for humans to oversee the system, and demonstrate incredibly high levels of accuracy in cybersecurity.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, sure, but this is a European law. Why would a shipbuilder in South Korea or a software developer in Norway really care? Well, this is where the AI Act shows its global reach.
Let's just walk through a super realistic scenario. A ship gets built in South Korea. It uses AI software that was made in Norway. But it's operated by a German company and it sails into EU ports. Because that AI system is being used inside the EU, both the South Korean shipbuilder and the Norwegian software company have to comply with the EU's AI Act.
And this is the key legal principle pulled right from the regulation itself. In plain English, if your product, or the outcome of your product, is used in the EU, you have to play by EU rules, period. This creates what people are calling a massive global ripple effect, basically forcing companies all over the world to adopt Europe's standards if they want to do business there.
So all of this really brings us to a fundamental question, a challenge that's at the heart of regulating any powerful new technology, whether it was the printing press centuries ago or artificial intelligence today.
It's this classic balancing act, right? A constant tug-of-war. On one side, you have the incredible, powerful drive for innovation. Companies need to push the boundaries and stay competitive. But on the other side, you have the EU's guiding philosophy, which is called the precautionary principle. And that basically means you have to prioritize managing potential risks before they can cause any harm.
Which leaves us with one final, kind of mind-bending thought to chew on. For centuries, a ship has always had one captain, one clear person in charge. But as AI takes the helm of these incredible vessels, who is really the captain now? Is it the innovator who designed the system? Is it the regulator who wrote the rules? Or is it, in some new and profound way, the algorithm itself?